Hello and welcome to The Exchange. So if you two are working together, right, and you've got an idea that, is there absolute free-flowing trust and anything can be said, and it's because you understand it's for the greater good?
I think he knows that I'm only giving him, I tell him half the time I hate this thing, or I tell him half the time I love it, because that's just my opinion. My opinion matters because I've been successful in my little world.
And he sorts it out whether he's going to accept it.
I know he's not lying to me. He's giving me we've known each other 20 years.
But I also know who Jon is, and I know that you're different than Jon, and you're different than Jon, and the whole world's different than Jon too. So it's like creative people giving each other constructive criticism is the best thing ever, as long as it's constructive.
Right, and if you get the spirit of what the communication is and what's underneath it, right? It's to make you better. I'm not here just for my own ego.
No. I'm always constructive with people that have been successful and know what they're talking about in their world. I might not be as constructive when someone's trying to tell me, oh, this is how it should be, and I'm like, no, you're absolutely wrong, because you don't know what you're talking about.
And if I'm a neophyte in something and I ask for your help on something, you're not going to come at me like you're an idiot, right? You're going to meet me where I am from that perspective.
It's all like learned experiences, but instead of studied experiences, you know? It's like people are like, oh, I know about New York City, I read about it.
Right, so
like, nah,
book smart,
man.
street smart, sure.
Yeah, no. People have to live it for me to take it seriously.
Right. And so credibility to you is their own experience in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like I have friends that are joining the cannabis business that never smoked weed before.
Right.
When the why is simply to make money, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not cute.
Yeah, your why breakdown is great. The whys and all that stuff.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's Steve's philosophy.
Well, it's not mine. I heard it somewhere. It's the reality. So you have like, if you drew circles, you'd say why, and then a ring would be how, and the outer ring would be what, right?
So to pick up on that, and this is what I've learned throughout my career, and I'm on the board at the University of Southern California at the Iovine Andre Young Dr. Dre Academy, and all the kids wear a shirt that says disruption, which has become sort of a cliche. But what I share with them always is they give me a great idea, and I said, why are you doing it? And they said, well, because I love it. Or why are you doing it? Well, I'm going to make money. I said, listen,
it's not going to work.
Anybody who does something to make money won't make money. Anybody who does something for love and passion will always make money. So that's the thing. You follow your heart. You don't follow your arithmetic brain. You follow what you love, because you can make money if you said the week of the U.S. Open, you said you call this work. I didn't work the whole week, and then he said, what was your strain? I said, well, to pay the bills. But the reason you did it was because you didn't work that whole week. You just had fun, right?
That's the only reason I did it.
Yeah,
and I wanted to come to the U.S. Open.
You
bring my kids.
With what you're doing too.
No, it's genius.
Yeah, I mean,
the genius is just that I want to do whatever I want to do, and somehow it will turn into a profitable thing, and I will always land on my feet and just fucking jump.
So when did that trust come? That innate
LSD at 12 or 13 years old, to be honest.
Really? Yeah. So
that's when it came. After I tripped on psychedelics when I was very young, I realized that your mind is way more powerful than anything else, and if you can think, it's like no heart. It's like golf too. It's fucking weird talking about golf all the time because that's all I can fucking think about. But it's the same shit. Like, if you think you're gonna make a double bogey, I promise you will. If you think you're gonna make a hole in one, there's a good chance you might. But you won't make a hole in one if you don't think you can.
Right.
Correct? You're just gonna fucking duff it.
Right.
So luck gets you a hole in one, but skill gets you close enough to the hole for it to actually go in the motherfucker. So it's the same with business. Like, yeah, you have to have enough skill to be able to kind of like handle it. Once someone says, I'm gonna do a $300,000 project, well, you have to have enough skill to pull it off and have the lights and have the DJ and have all the bullshit you have to have.
The execution.
But the fear, there's no real fear. It's like, what the fuck?
Fear's a bad one. Fear's a real bad one.
fear has to creep out of your life because of action. I skateboarded and jumped down stairs and almost killed myself 100 times. And that helps you with your fears, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm going to start this business and I don't care if my family's not going to eat. Fuck it, I'm starting it.
Right.
Like,
So
a lot
that
of
goes
people
back
don't
to
do that because they haven't jumped down stairs in their lives. Does that
Right.
make sense? They haven't. I made 500 phone calls a day. You know how much rejection that is for a year?
I get it.
It's no, 500 times a day for a year.
Yeah.
That helped me. That helped me go. I'm gonna go start my own brand. I owe the IRS, 50, 60 grand. My family. I have a 1-year-old son.
Yep.
I have nothing.
Yep.
I'm going to start my own brand.
Right.
And I did it, and
Yeah.
it was like, okay, it
Yeah.
worked.
So I mean, there's a level of trust in all this equation as well, right? I mean,
Trust yourself. Bet on
yeah.
yourself.
I mean, listen, I built a company in 2009, and we're going down to play golf, and I said, I'm going to start this new real estate company.
And I told him, I said, your timing is impeccable.
And he also had some other thoughts about maybe you're out of your mind because the 2009.
That's when you do it.
Yeah, it was and it's our own money. It wasn't other people's money either. It was like, no, but I believe in that I can create an environment where people that they collaborate. If I create a product that people will be attracted to, not from a sell perspective, but from an authentic, educated, this is an opportunity, do you want to play? Our stock went through the roof. I mean, we soared. As the market was doing this, we were exploding. But it does come down to that sense of trust in self. And if you don't have that trust in yourself, how do you get it? I mean,
Acid.
okay, one way.
Ayahuasca, you
Is
know, I don't
acid.
know.
12, 13 years old.
God, right?
But if someone's 22 and they've missed that fertile point of their brain, what do you suggest to someone who's listening in and going, I don't have that trust in myself?
You have to do something to change your environment, man. You have to do something really radical to change your environment. You know, you got to change
The comfort zone has to be blown up.
You got to change your chemical balance quickly somehow. Go jump out of a plane, man. Just go do something you would never do. You know.
And not everyone's built like we are. That's the reality of it. Not everyone's fucking built like us. Like, I'm the type of person where I can't stop working. And if I take a half a day and don't work, I feel like a fucking loser or something, right? Like, other people may not have that feeling or problem. If I go a Sunday and I don't get anything done productive for my work, it's like, well, yeah, I'm hanging out with my family, I'm hanging out with my kids, but
Right.
I'm fucking Kobe. I should be doing business deals at the same time too, on my phone on the side. There's so much to do that I can't sleep in. I can't sleep in the morning. I wake up ready to attack.
But here's the question. How do you manage the creativity, right? You get an idea here, you get an idea here, you get an idea here. They all take energy and they take investment. How do you, at what point do you?
It's not energy and investment if you love it. If you love it,
Yeah.
it's not energy. So it's like I just said to you guys, you need a new logo. You need a logo. I'll do your logo today.
Right.
I'll just do it today. Draw it, sketch it, every fucking thing done. This guy's gonna vectorize it. The logo's done.
Right.
It's like people you have certain things that you don't run out of, right?
Yeah.
So creative ideas, if I go to a boardroom at a corporate company and they say, well, what would you do? And then, one person would be like, don't tell them your ideas. And then I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna tell them every fucking
sure.
thing. You know what? Because they're not gonna be able to do it without me.
Right.
So all I'm gonna do is spaz them out more, where now they're like, oh fuck, now we really gotta figure this out. Because what he said was right, but no one in that boardroom, like you said, has a fucking clue.
So you create a job for yourself because because you're the execution strategy as well, right?
All of it.
You gotta be, right?
In some way.
But you can only execute on so many strategies at once. So you obviously, as you just said, pick and choose. And you gotta
You
love
have to have
it.
a criteria.
So what's your criteria?
There has to be a prerequisite for everything. My criteria starts with white space.
Okay.
So when we started Truff, we saw that there wasn't a luxury price point of hot sauce in the market that was doing well. There was a few, but there was nothing above $15. So we identified that we should fill this space with something, right? And I've always been enamored by Urbani truffle butter.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
I do.
Okay. So there's a butter that costs $15. You're
right.
like, damn.
My nephew's a chef. I get it.
Expensive butter.
It's delicious though.
Anyway, so we said, hey, let's create a luxury hot sauce and release it at $15.99. And it was a white space. But also, it sounds so easy that we started a hot sauce and now it's like one of the #1 hot sauces in the world. But
It's not easy.
It's what it was is we're using our DNA and we're using our like playbook from other. I think another criteria is if you have a great playbook that's working in one industry, you can apply it to another industry.
Believe it or not, like it was fairly easy.
Yeah,
Like
I get it. But
Malbon
if
Golf
someone-
has been fairly easy. Well, you have to have a white space.
Execution's easy.
And there's
have to have a
shitty
white
days.
space.
Come on, there's shitty days along the way when you're not feeling it.
There's shitty days, but there's not expensive fucking hot sauces. So like,
Oh no, listen, it's the risk reward, right? I get it, I get it. But again, formulaically, right? There is a criteria that is very transferable. I mean, from my perspective, if I meet you where you are, not only what's good, but also getting to the place where I can understand where it's bad. Right? Where your mind kicks in and could slow you down, or a belief system. Because unless you create a clean energy where you are, it's very difficult to go up.
I think the white space thing too. Like I have another
very
business.
lucky.
The now
But
my
you
wife
created
started.
that luck.
No.
You don't think you created that luck?
No, I got a little lucky. You got to give luck.
Hey, listen,
you got to give a little luck.
Without question.
Well,
But you got to show up.
No, we were in New York City at the most influential time in like maybe Herring and those guys in like the early 80s, but like late 80s, early 90s, New York City is like pretty, and that everyone we grew up with, like club promoters, bankers, skaters, artists,
Yeah, but I think
musicians.
there's always that time. There's always going to be that.
Conservation of energy in the universe is a constant. It's equal. It's 100. Absolutely. The amount of opportunity is exactly equal at every single moment in time. Never changes. 100. It's always 100. The only thing that changes is there is a difficulty to identify it. The difficulty to identify it, because one of the key parts of genius is when. You know, like if Isaac Newton arrived today and started sprouting off, you'd say,
No.
thank you. But you have to identify your time. You have to identify the when of something. And if you can do that, you can become a
And
genius.
you have to want to do it.
Well, yeah, no, but want is love and passion.
Yeah.
Go ahead, John.
There's still a but that 80s and 90s hip hop culture has influenced the entire planet bigger than anything else in the world.
I would agree.
You know?
I would agree. But again, because people were ready for it at that time, but that doesn't mean a new idea couldn't sprout that could be just exquisite, and we can always then pull the pieces together and say, that was the perfect moment for that. Because you just parlayed what was the reality of the moment, and you exponentialized it, if that's a word. So are you always invincible in what you want to do? Is there ever any doubt? It doesn't enter the
In the business world?
Yeah.
Now I am invincible.
Right.
Yeah.
What about the golf world?
No, I'm getting there because I'm a little bit new to it. But I've been doing business for 18 years.
But what if you
I
transferred
haven't
that to
been
every
playing golf
aspect
for
of your life?
That's what I was telling you yesterday. I said, dude, you can beat Mark. I told him in the car, I said, I'm so sick of you saying that just Mark's going to beat you today. Like, what are you fucking talking about? Like, you can beat Mark, can he not?
I don't usually say
Well,
that.
how can he beat Mark? Hey, listen, how could he beat Mark? He has to believe he can.
Right. So that's what I want to touch on. I want to.
And if you don't believe you're going to beat Mark, you're not going to beat
But
Mark.
I want to stay with that for a second. And
100%.
You and I are talking yesterday.
That's right. My confidence in golf is way not.
But
even
it
close.
shouldn't be. It should be the
shouldn't
exact
He's
same
right.
as fucking,
He is
I'm
right.
invincible.
He is right.
I agree.
I'm invincible.
And guess what? You
If
have
you're going to
a
be
much
invincible,
better-
be invincible.
You have a much better time playing golf, as I have a much better time playing golf, when we bring to the best of who we are, and we have a great time doing it, and we execute. But
I'm a +2 in business.
Let's transition to genius a little bit. When I thought about this idea of genius, and I thought about how it has almost a stigma to it, that from the perspective, if you don't feel connected to that genius, you look at it from afar and go, I don't have that resource. I don't have that ability. I can't claim it anywhere. And I truly believe that we, as I said at the outset, we all have that genius. It's just understanding that our genius is, part of the genius is ours, right? It's the uniqueness of you walking into a room and saying, preordained, part of my genius is I know when I'm going to walk out of that room. And I'm going to take my stuff with me, and I'm going to see the impact it makes, and I'm going to see if the genius worked in that moment or it doesn't work in that moment. How do you encapsulize, what makes you a genius? Do you feel you're a genius in anything?
Definitely not.
Okay, so there you go. So what?
I'm the best in the world to do what I do. I know that. So I
is
don't
that
know.
a genius?
So is that a genius? I don't know. But I for example, I'm a retailer, okay, and I know where retail is absolutely going. Retail will in the future become a form of entertainment without any question of doubt. And I've been doing that for years, and I can tell you it's entertainment in the industrialized countries, but in the third world and the developing world, it's something else. But it'll totally be an entertainment, technology oriented. Sector in the future. Now, nobody else is doing it the same way that I have it in my head. I've already created the fledgling project, which you've seen in Dubai. With the money we had, we put $5 million into that, and it's a retail entertainment center and a sort of a shishi mall. Like the Dubai Mall is a shishi mall. I want to bring that back to the United States. Is that genius?
Yes.
I don't know. I have no clue.
Yeah.
It's just what should happen.
What's the criteria for genius?
Let's define it. What is the criteria for genius?
I'm a genius for sure.
How do you define that?
Because I don't give a fuck what happens.
Okay,
so if I've accepted that there is no failure,
I'm a genius too.
If I've accepted there's no failure, and I just try to do what I want to do because I love doing it,
Right.
then that's genius.
So what you're doing is expressing yourself, right? So is genius a form of expression?
I think genius has a little something to do with being comfortable enough with the results and being able to say fuck it. And if the result is failure, great. If the result is wildly successful, great. But you have to be a genius to trust yourself enough to do it. And no one has the answer if it's going to work or not. So if I ask you, hey, I'm going to start a golf shop on Fairfax, Mark says you're a fucking idiot. He didn't tell me this, but he's thinking like, that's the fucking worst.
Maybe the way he thought about when I was going to start a real estate company in 2009. Okay.
I think there's a commonality. I'm sure you had the same thing. I had the same thing. I remember when I opened my first store, and I went and asked people if they'd supply me, and they'd say, well, what's your concept? And I'd tell them the concept. I mean, like you with your 500 phone calls, if I talked to 75 people, 74 said, are you out of your mind? That will never work.
And you have to be a genius to keep doing it.
Never work.
Okay.
I mean, when I see people in my life that I think are geniuses, and I don't see myself as a genius.
So what do you see in
people have
them?
called me a genius. I've been called a genius by people like in my family or friends because of like everyone that I know. They're like, "That's genius. You're so connected."
So as part of
genius connection.
The definition of genius is you can't call yourself a genius, but others can recognize you as one.
I think my group, me and my group, right, quote unquote, is like a genius thing, right?
The genius thing too, it's a tricky question because it's like, I know a fucking guy that fishes every single day in Virginia, and that motherfucker is a genius. Because this rat race fucking nightmare we put ourselves in isn't fucking genius. It's pain in the fucking ass.
But you said you love every minute of it.
Well, again, you sit here and worry, me and my wife arguing about fucking how you're gonna pay the 30 grand, we're waiting on 100 grand right before the party, whatever. It's like, what the fuck am I doing all this nonsense for?
Right.
There is a feeling of that, of like, who's the real fucking genius? The guy that has 9 businesses and stressed the fuck out all the time, or the guy that fucking walks on the beach every morning and picks up trash?
Right.
And cooks his own lobsters every night?
Right.
I don't know. You're only here once, and it goes by kind of quick.